that, guys. Very, very beautiful. I woke up to a winter world today. I knew they suspected it was going to be snowing today. Well, actually last night. And it did. Looks very, very pretty. But it will be gone soon. It's only just a thin layer. I think it's like 3 or 4 centimeters. It's not that much, but it's the first, real snow that you can feel behind your shoes when you walk outside. It is still pretty cold. I think it is still around freezing point. The wind is blowing, what makes it a bit colder. I don't have anything on my hands right now because I just quickly went outside to film for you guys. But yeah, it's very cold and my hands are cold. But I think the snow will be gone very, very quickly because I think today it's going to be like 10 degrees outside. So this will melt quickly once it starts to warm up. And right now I can feel my face. It's not really snow anymore. It's almost like a mix between snow and rain. So yeah, this will be gone quickly, but it looks so beautiful. I just wanted to show you guys. And it also shows, I think, a bit about the weather for the next coming weeks, because it will probably be freezing a bit more, maybe snowing sometimes, probably raining a lot still, because that's just what happens when you live here. But yeah, it's very, very beautiful, and I'm enjoying this calm moment. It's pretty early, so I think everybody's still asleep, but I just woke up and I went outside to check if there really was snow, and there is, just a little bit, but enough for me to enjoy this moment. And yeah, I just wanted to share it with you guys, but I will film some more once the snow is gone. It will look awful probably because everything will be wet, and yeah, that's always a bit sad, but for now I'm enjoying this moment and wanted to share it with you guys. I'm getting cold though, so I'm going to start filming some things with the camera I have here, and then I'm going to go inside to warm up because it's way too cold to be outside without gloves on. But yeah, I just ran outside to show you. It's another storm today, but hopefully it doesn't get any worse than this, because I don't really like storms. But before I tell you guys a story about my youth, I wanted to talk to you guys about something else. The people that have been watching my videos for some time, they know I had surgery not too long ago, and I struggled with my health for, probably a big part of last year. And my health is getting better, and with that problem out of the way, I really wanted to start this year fresh, and I know how important health is. And this year I also want to focus on my mental health. I want to build up my mental wealth. So when Magic Mind reached out to me, I was very excited about that, because I wanted to use their mental performance shot. I used it before and I was very happy with how good it works. Because I wanted to focus on building my mental wealth, using Magic Mind was a good way to start the year for me, especially after last year. And mental wealth is about investing in habits today that build your resilience for the future challenges. It's like creating a mental savings account. You can withdraw from it when life gets tough. And mental wealth uses 5 pillars: sleep, diet, exercise, stress management, and exogenous compounds. And Magic Mind is just a part of this. And using Magic Mind helps with that clear mental focus, getting better sleep. It's a tool to help build up your mental wealth. So it's just a small part of it, but it plays a big role. And I've been using Magic Mind focus shots in the morning for 5 days now. I have used it before and it's made a notably difference in my clarity. At night, the sleep product has helped me wind down after 3 nights of use. And for me, that's a perfect way to start building my mental wealth this year. Maybe you should try it too, because there's no better moment to start than now. Make 2025 the year you build your mental resilience like I'm doing now. So you can now order the 24 hours pack, focus and sleep bundle for 45% off when you use my link. And that's magicmind.com/NikkiJen. If you use my link, you will help me. And I will be able to make videos like this, and I really appreciate all of you. I will show the link in the description box and in the screen here. So yeah, if you want to help me, support me, try it for yourself. I'm very enthusiastic about it, like I was last time I used it. It really gives that clean focus for me, but it doesn't stand in the way of getting good sleep. So yeah, I highly recommend you guys try it out, and I will take mine for today right now. Also, I quite like the taste. It looks green, looks very healthy, and yeah, I like to take it in the morning. I normally just take it like this, like a shot. You can very easily take it with you. It's for me a big part of my morning routine, but you can also take it with ice. I have done that before, it tastes great as well. So yeah, very convenient, very good product for me. So, I will do a quick walk around to see how everything is doing with the storm, because the wind is blowing like crazy and I think it will get worse in an hour or so. Just check if all the animals are okay, if my fencing is holding up, if nothing too crazy is going around in the trees around my cottage. And after we did a small check outdoors, I will get inside. I have some very cool pictures of when I was younger, of me growing up, and I'm going to tell you guys that story, I promise. So yeah, let's get going. The snow is melting already, and the temperature is above freezing point now. I think it's like 1 degree, so the ground is not frozen anymore. It's a bit dirty weather to be outdoors, but I want to take this moment because it's above freezing now to clean a bit of the horse pasture out. They have this area over here, this corner, where they like to do their business. You know, they always use this corner as their bathroom, and that's fine, you know. It's very convenient. They use one spot to clean it up, but it's just it gets really messy very quickly. And now it's not frozen, so I'm going to try and clean up a little bit. It's just this corner, so it should be an easy job to do, and it should be fairly quickly. It's pretty cold still. I can feel the cold wind in my face, and the rain is falling, and it is almost like half frozen and half wet. So it feels like it's not snow, it's not hail, but it's somewhere in between all those things, and it isn't really nice, but it's just part of winter time. And yeah, I'm just going to use this moment to clean up here, and after that I think I'll go inside to warm up a bit. And in this video this week I actually want to share a story with you guys. So we are going to have some talk. I'm going to share some personal stuff with you, some things that are on my mind, some things about me growing up and moving around from the countryside to the city, back to the countryside, and I'm going to tell you guys all about it. It's going to be very honest, as I try to be always, and yeah, just share a story with you guys. And we'll start out with doing this work because I'm getting wet and cold here already, but after that we are going to talk. was a good idea, but the rest is still just too frozen, so it needs to wait till it's a bit warmer. Might be later today, might be next week, but for now not possible. The storm is pretty bad still, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but the wind is blowing, the trees are moving like crazy, my neighbor's sheep are going from the other side to the field to their stable area where they get their food and they can shelter. I think they also decided the weather isn't too great to be outside, but yeah, we are going to make it cozy here, and I'm going to share my story with you guys. I have looked up some old pictures from when I was a child, from my grandparents, my parents, and where we lived, so I'm going to share a pretty personal story, but I think it's nice to have a bit of perspective, to know how my life went till this point, why I live here, why I like it so much, and just things about when I was younger. So we are going to make it cozy here, ignore the storm raging outside, and share my story. So this is where I feel at home. At my cottage, surrounded by nature, animals, and the sound of birds and trees instead of traffic. But it wasn't always like this. There was a time when I lived in the city and it taught me a lot, but ultimately it brought me back here, to the countryside, to where I feel I belong. And today I want to share my journey with you, from growing up in the countryside to briefly living in the city, and why I'll never leave the countryside again. I talked about it a little bit before, but here I will share how it all started. I grew up in a small village surrounded by fields, forests, and a way of life that felt simple and pure. As a child, I would spend hours outside helping with animals, climbing trees, or just wandering through the fields. Back then, for me, it felt completely normal. I didn't realize how special it was to have that kind of freedom and that connection to nature. At that moment, I might not even appreciate it enough like I do now. But like many people, I left that life behind to pursue my studies, and that's how I ended up in the city. Living in the city was, well, exciting at first. The energy, the opportunities, the people, it was very different from what I was used to. And I moved into a small student room surrounded by tall buildings and the constant noise of the city, which at that moment I didn't really mind. But it was a world full of possibilities, but also one that came with challenges for me every day. I learned a lot during that time about myself, about my life, how to navigate a fast-paced life, how to adapt to change, and even how to appreciate things like public transport or shops within walking distance, because I really wasn't used to all that. But deep down, something always felt, I don't know, missing. I miss the quiet, I miss the space, I miss the connection to nature that had always been such a big part of my life, even when I didn't know it. I miss seeing animals roaming around, and I really miss my family as well. So yeah, it was hard for me, and it was what I thought I needed to do. It was what I thought was right to do for me in that moment. It's also what I really wanted. I wanted to move to the city. I wanted that different life. I wanted people around me. I wanted even to go to parties and things like that, which right now for me sounds crazy that I ever thought I would wanted that. But at that moment it was what I wanted, and it's what I did. It was also around the time my parents divorced, which I think for every child is a very hard time. It's something in the past now, it's something I've come to terms with. It's just how life is and how life goes, and I'm very happy to see them happy now. That's very important for me, but at that time my life was chaos, and living in the cities was chaos as well. And right now I'm like, I don't even realize that everything happened like it did, but it made me appreciate what I have now even more. But before I'll continue the story, I just wanted to share some pictures with you guys that show what my life was like before moving to the cities and why I live here now. So this is where it all started. In this picture you can see my grandparents in the middle here, the parents of my mom, together with my aunt over here, and my mom, very young still, on that side. My granddad here is holding the horse. And this picture is, I think, very special to me because I love horses, and this is also, I think, where all the love for animals comes from my grandparents, from my mom. That's what started it all. This is me dancing with my granddad at a party, and over there you can see very small Dylan dancing with my grandmother. The grandmother over there, when she was a bit younger, and that is the one that lives with us on this property right now. So you guys that watch more of my videos, you will probably have seen her before. And she plays a very important role in my life story, I would say. She is very important to me. I'm very, very happy we still have her around. Unfortunately, my grandfather passed away years ago now. It still feels like yesterday, but we were very close to them, and that has to do with the fact that we live together. So I will show you a picture from the home where I grew up in, which is this house, an old farmhouse, and you can see it's a very, very big house. My grandparents lived in the part in the front here, next to the water, and my parents lived in this part, the backside, where long time before there were cows there, and that's where they lived. So I grew up like this. I was born in this house, in a very small village with only like 2,000 people there. It's grown bigger now, but when I lived there it was a very, very small farmer's town, and it was amazing. But it was also all I knew, and we lived here. My grandparents lived here, my parents lived there, and then I was born. I'm the oldest. I have one younger brother, Dylan, and we were both born in this house. And we grew up on the countryside, between farms, between animals, with my grandparents very close. So I think that's why it's so important for me to still have my grandmother around, because I'm so used to it, you know, she's always been there. So yeah, this is how I grew up. This is where I've lived most of my life. I've lived here, then I went to the city because I thought I would like to live there during my studies, which was a mistake. But I learned a lot about myself and about the life I would like to live. but this is where I've lived most of my life till around 6 years ago when we moved to this property. I bought my cottage and now I live here. So this was also the front side of the house, so this was where my grandparents used to live. My grandparents, we actually moved away when my granddad died. So that's, I think my granddad died 7 years ago. We moved here around 6 years ago. Around that time, I'm not too sure, but something like that. So my grandparents, they lived here. And then I have some pictures of when I was younger. So this is me with my grandparents' dog. And you will see throughout all these pictures that animals have always played a big part in my life. So here you can see over here, those are my parents. And I'm playing over here. I think this is me with 2 of my nephews. So the children of my aunt. In the garden, a big garden surrounded by nature. There was a large fish point there. I love ponds. We have a few here, and I think that's why I vividly remember that my dad always used to take care of the fish and everything around the pond, you know, making sure it looked nice, making sure everything was growing good, that the plants are in control, that the fish were doing great. So it's a fond memory for me, and I think that's why I love it so much. And just, you know, the field, the grass, playing, having space, having trees around you, just very special to me. Here you can see me. I know this is on the couch at my grandparents' house with their dog. His name was Dribble in Dutch. And Dribble was actually kind of the first dog I remember. The other one was when I was very young. Don't really remember that. But this one I do remember. And it was like... I think I had a very special bond with this dog, and my grandmother always used to say, when I was playing around with him, you have something special with animals, and I never really felt it that way. For me it was like everybody has that, everybody loves animals, everybody likes being around animals, every child likes animals. It was so normal for me. Yeah, this is the one I don't really remember, but you can see that when I was young, I was already surrounded by animals, and I think that's where my love for animals comes from. Just growing up like this. My mom is a huge animal lover. My dad likes animals as well, but my grandparents, especially my grandmother, she was crazy about animals. When she was younger, when my grandparents were really young, they didn't have a lot of money. They lived in a very big city. That's where they came from, both. And they moved because of my granddad's job to a smaller town on the countryside, which was completely new for them, and they both loved everything about it. They loved the fact that you know everybody in a small village. They loved the fact that you have animals, you have quietness around you, you have nature. They both really loved to walk outdoors, they loved to walk in the forest, they loved animals, and they finally had the space. So when my grandparents moved to the countryside, I think that's where it all started. My grandmother bought some animals. She was gifted some animals because they had the space. She really loved it. She had chickens, dogs. She even had goats at one point. That's why Dylan and I, are not allowed to have goats, because my grandmother remembers that she always used to chase them around the village because they always escaped. So that's where it comes from, that we are not able to have goats here. And these are my parents with me in the garden. You can see one of the farms that was very close to us behind them in the picture. This was me with a dog again. So from a very early age, I think I wasn't even able to walk here because I'm still holding the stroller, and the dog is right beside me. It's one of the first things I knew was animals around. And that's my grandmother. I'm over there. She's cleaning the dog. Oh, here she is dressing up the dog from... I think it's for my mom's and my dad's wedding. Yes. And these are my parents over here. My granddad, my grandmother over there, and my mom's sister over there, my aunt. they both look very beautiful when they got married. Very cool to see. And then this is me again. You can see in this picture that I'm holding a doll in this picture. And when I was younger, I didn't really have an interest for dolls at all. I didn't play with them that much. I'm holding one here, which I think is pretty special because it didn't happen that much. I was busier with animals, playing around with the animals, with the dogs mainly, with Dribble over here in the picture. And that's what I like to do. And when I was playing with toys, mostly it were horse toys or animal toys or, a farm, not so much with dolls. So from an early age I really preferred being around animals. And this is my grandmother. Doesn't she look pretty here? Mowing the lawn, surrounded by greenery, very pretty. And this is that picture again with the horse. So this is a little bit about my family's history, this side from the family. And I think this started it all. But then I grew up like this and I really loved it. But also when you reach a certain age, like I think I was around 18 when I started to feel like, is this everything, There weren't a lot of people my age around in the small town. I thought maybe I want to see more of the world, I want to see a bigger city, I want to meet new people, I want to do different things. Just how it goes, I think, when you're that age. And with my parents getting a divorce, which was pretty hard, of course, I thought, I should go live in a city and experience that. It's what I need to do, which I was pretty wrong about, but I will explain that. I'll put this away so I can talk to you guys. So I moved to the city, but after a while I realized I didn't really want to stay in the city. I wanted to go back. I wanted the peace and the quiet, the animals around. I didn't want to be in the big city. I wanted to return to the small village, where you know all the people and where you are surrounded by nature and animals and by family, because that was important to me and I didn't realize it when I moved to the cities. So it was an easy choice in a way, but it also made things harder because for my studies I needed to go to the city and I needed to travel a lot to do that. And also around that time there were a lot of people that told me I'd regret going back, that I'd missed the city's conveniences, but I followed my heart and it brought me back here, back to the countryside. And here at my cottage in the countryside I think I've really found my peace. My days now are filled with the sounds of nature instead of the sounds of sirens and cars in the city, and I wake up to fresh air and the sight of fields stretching as far as I can see. I spend my time around the animals and in nature and really living in the moment and appreciate small moments. It's not always easy, but it feels real and it feels fulfilling to me. So the countryside reminds me to slow down, to appreciate the little things. A sunrise, a smell of fresh hay, or just peace and quiet after a long day. And these are things I never want to give up again. So moving back to the countryside wasn't just about leaving the city. It was about finding myself again, rediscovering what truly makes me happy. And I hope that in sharing my story, I can inspire you to reflect on what home means to you. Because I think home is a very important word, and for me it's here in the heart of nature, surrounded by simplicity and peace, by all my animals and by my family. And that's what the word home is to me, and it's also what the feeling home means to me. So I'm very happy that I made the decision to move back. It wasn't easy at first. Moving around isn't really my thing, but it felt like it was what I needed to do. And I don't regret going to the city. I've only been there for a short while, and I don't regret it because I think I needed it to learn more about myself, and I think it's very important to do that. But now I moved back here, and even when living here, I love it here, and you guys know I really appreciate every small moment in nature with the animals, some small feelings, the fog in the morning, a beautiful sunset, just watching the ducks going around in the ponds, things like that, that make my life feel meaningful in a way, very special, being surrounded by family, and also it also made me appreciate just life in general and what I have here. And I think it's good to sometimes take a step back from what you are used to, so you appreciate it more. That's very important for me, and that's what really happened when I moved to the cities. And yeah, I'm very glad I moved back here. I'm very glad my mom gave me the opportunity to live here, to place my cottage here and enjoy this beautiful place. And in the future, I might even take it a step further away. I might even want to be more remote in a rural area. I would like to build my own cottage or renovate it. So I have big plans for the future. And you guys that watched my last video, you know I have some big dreams, and hopefully they'll come true in the next 10 years. But yeah, I hope you guys really appreciate this personal story of mine. And yeah, it's something different, but it's something I wanted to share about my life. And I might do some personal stories in the future as well, just things that happened in my life that I would like to talk about with you guys. Just because you are watching my video, some of you are watching every week, some of you might watch a video you think is nice for you to watch, or you are here for the first time, and if that's the case, welcome here. I upload a video every Sunday about my life here on the countryside, living in a cottage, doing renovations projects, homestead life with the animals. And I have some big plans for the future, and I like to take you guys along. So I'm probably going to share some personal stories as well, and if you don't like it, that's completely fine, of course. I hope you enjoy my other content, and if you do like this and it maybe my story resonates with you, and you feel a certain way about home, please leave a comment, because I love to read those, and I really appreciate everybody taking the time to leave a comment. I am outside again. You can see Bounty behind me in the mud. The storm is over now. It's very muddy here, but you can see she's on top of the plates now together with Coco. They are scratching each other. It's very good behavior, even though Coco is much smaller than Bounty. You can see it with Oreo as well, but they are really enjoying the plates. You can see there's a bit of mud on top there, but still they don't sink in there. So it works perfectly. The stable area is dry, and their feeding area over here is a whole dry patch. So although it looks very bad, and I would much prefer for it to be dry, finally, with all these storms that's happening, they are all right. They don't seem to mind too much. Their hooves are doing great, so they have dry spots to go. Very happy I put those plates in. Look how cute. But yeah, it's the end of the video. The storm is gone. I know it's a bit of a different video this week, so I hope you guys enjoy it as well. And I just wanted to remind you guys real quick about the Magic Mind offer that's currently on. If you use my link, I will put it here in the screen and in the description, but it's magicmind.com/NikkiJen for the January challenge for the mental well-building, which I'm definitely doing this year, especially after all the health problems I had last year. I'm totally ready for this year to be amazing, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it amazing, like I always do. So I'll enjoy it, whatever happens. It makes me happy to live like this, so I'm a very happy person in general. I might not show it always. Some people say I have a very serious face, but I enjoy a lot of small moments. It's what makes it worth it for me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this different type of video, and thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week.